Good afternoon, family. This is Marianne. I would like to, I said I was going to come today and bring you guys a professional that could break down the process of legality on people who are collecting donation and are not giving finished product. My guest is Joseph. Um, I'm sorry, Attorney Makhandal Joseph Champagne. I'm nervous. I apologize. I'm gonna allow you to tell our my viewers a little bit about your professional background, please.
Certainly. Greetings to you all. My name is Joseph Makhandal Champagne Jr. From the law firm of Champagne Law Group, LLC. We are located in the state of New Jersey, more specifically in Newark, New Jersey, and also in Toms River, New Jersey. And I am a former mayor in the city of the South Toms River in the state of New Jersey, first Asian American elected mayor in the history of the state of New Jersey. We provide services not only in the state of New Jersey, but also in various other jurisdictions in the Supreme Court of New Jersey, of course, is also in the District Court of New Jersey in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals of the United States, also in the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in the United States, as well as in the Northern District of New York as well. So we are here to serve. Our number is 732-240-0030, and I look forward to have a one conversation with you on this topic.
Okay, Attorney Makhandal. The first question I have, I kind of wrote some stuff down so our viewer could get a good understanding. The first question I had is, can you define to us the issue of long-term fundraising with no clear end or accountability?
Well, certainly, before we delve into that, I'd like to just, give a quick, context, because we're talking about public fundraising at this point.
Correct.
So, public fundraising at its core is the act of collecting money for individuals or groups for a stated purpose. This can be done by nonprofits. This can be done by individuals or even businesses. There are generally three types of fundraising efforts. There are charitable donations, business crowding, and personal campaigns. Now, each comes with its own set of rules and expectations and legal gray zones. For example, nonprofit fundraising for charitable work usually falls under the regulation of the IRS and state charity bureaus. In contrast, a personal GoFundMe may have fewer obligations unless it misleads people about its true purpose. Now, the key distinction I must state is transparency and intent. I want to say it again: transparency and intent. Is the money being used as promised? Is the organization or individual accountable to donors? So yes.
I have a piggyback question on that. When you say transparency, what happened when donations are collected endlessly and with no result in sight?
Okay, so that's a very loaded question because we have to look into signs of potential fraud, right? Now let's look at some common red flags. not every slow project is a scam, okay? But there are patterns that often emerge in problematic campaigns. First, a lack of timeline, right? Projects that collect donations indefinitely with no clear deadlines or delivery dates. Those can raise serious concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Second, we have the absence of financial transparency. If updates are vague or non existent and budgets are never shared, donors are essentially left in the dark. And then the third would be shifting goals. A campaign that constantly changes its mission or expands its scope without clear justification, maybe avoiding accountability. So, another major red flag I would also add would be refusal to answer questions.
Powerful, powerful.
So, and legitimate projects welcome scrutiny and feedback because it's legitimate. They are open to scrutiny and feedback and questions and whatnot because of it's a legitimate undertaking.
Okay.
But
Attorney Joseph, you're giving me a load. You're an attorney, so we could take it in portion. So you would say that you said they have to give transparency. What if dates are being continuously changed? So they're giving some form of transparency, some form of accomplishment, progress being made, but date are continuously being changed. Would that fall under that?
Yeah, I mean that's the point that I made. The first point I made actually was about a lack of timeline.
Okay. Okay.
So the project that collect donations indefinitely with no clear deadlines or delivery dates certainly raises serious concerns.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a justification to explain why those timelines have to be changed, and that explanation is reasonable, certainly it can be accepted. But a constant change of timelines may raise concerns to the public and to the donors in particular. So the concern is even heightened when inquiries about those changing timelines or the actual activities for which donation is accepted, when those inquiries are dismissed or met with hostility. And the trust in the project, the trust in the organization sort of erodes very quickly. And I wanted to make that final point regarding that aspect. The visual illusion of progress is something that is problematic. Some campaigns post staged or repetitive updates, as you mentioned before, to appear active,
as if progress is being made.
Yes, without any real advancement. So this is a tactics seen in multiple civil cases. So these are the things that I think the public should look into when they are looking for some signs of potential fraud or red flags, sort of.
So before I move to my third question, can you give us like a clear understanding between donation and something that is a how would I say? You have donation, you have charitable contribution. So donation is they don't have to be held accountability, if I'm correct?
No, you still have accountability. You still have to show accountability. That's why I was saying earlier that when you have uh, donors, providing funds, they have to know, is there a timeline and what is the purpose for the donation, and is there any financial transparency provided? Um, what is the goal for the donation, and why is the goal keep on changing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those because the donors have the right to raise this question. Now, like I said before, that doesn't necessarily mean there's something that is fraudulent going on,
Mm-hmm.
but it
Mm-hmm.
becomes problematic when there is no answers to those questions, and then all the answers to those questions constantly shift
Mm-hmm.
to other explanation that was not expected.
So
So,
can you give us like the legal framework when there's murky water when it comes to the donation? What are the legal framework, the repercussion?
okay, so the legal framework or repercussions, that will be you're dealing with if you can show intent. Uh,
Intent and and scamming. Is that what you're referring to?
Correct.
Okay.
Intent and scamming, and there's a pattern. Uh, there's a pattern in terms of showing that there has been some unreasonableness in terms of changing the goals
Mm-hmm.
for
And
which
changing the goal would be constantly changing a date.
changing the date to unreasonable time. For instance, if you say that you were gonna complete a project in 2 years, and all of a sudden it's you going into 6 years or 8 years, and things are constantly shifting, then it does pose cause to concern, to be
Mm-hmm.
concerned.
Mm-hmm.
It raised red flags. Uh, so
Okay. So what about a lack of financial transparency? Transparent. I have my tongue twist sometimes. You understand my question? Like a lack of transparency on what's going on. Would that fall into a legal realm of like illegal, not giving not giving like an accurate timeline? I don't know if I'm framing that question correctly. Like a
yeah,
lack of financial transparency.
yes, I did mention that before. Those things, lack of transparency, a shifting of deadlines, would essentially, cause uh, create a red flag to those who are concerned about what's going on with their donations.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
also have to mention that, each state, uh, has rules and regulations that govern solicitation of funds for charitable purposes. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Most organizations that solicit donations from certain states, uh, including New York or New Jersey or Pennsylvania, uh, the individual organizations, those organizations have to register with the Department of the State of Bureau of Corporations and Charitable Organization of that particular state before even starting fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes charities, nonprofits, and even some online campaigns that solicit contribution in that particular state. So, and registration requires basic information about the organization, its
Mm.
officers, and how funds will be used,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
plus varying levels of financial reporting depending on annual receipts. So, and then there has to be, once registered, organizations must renew annually and submit financial information. For example,
Wow.
yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay.
yes, IRS Form 990 S, and for larger organizations, audited or reviewed statements to remain in compliance. So this transparency really helps donors and regulators to track how funds are being used and discourages misuse.
Interesting. So let me ask you this. So if red flag is noticed, can you please elaborate to us who does the investigation? Would that fall under IRS or would that fall under the Attorney General? Who would do the investigation?
Uh, uh, all you just mentioned, but starting with the state itself, because the state, like I said, has a Bureau of Corporation and Charitable Organizations. They would monitor that bureau monitors compliance with solicitation law, in audits, financial reports, and reviews registration information, and works with investigators and prosecutors when there are any signs of fraud or serious non-compliance. So the charitable, for instance, charitable trust and organization section can investigate deceptive solicitation practices and pursue enforcement actions. So the residents or the donors of a particular state can report suspected fraud.
That's right.
To
Authorities.
those authorities or agencies. They maintain compliance systems and often public information hotlines. They have those things where you can do that. So, I mean, there are legal consequences for misleading or causing fraudulent fundraising. So it's really important for anyone who is engaging in, soliciting funds, charitable organization to be aware of that, because if an organization misrepresents how funds will be used, for instance, fails to register or otherwise violates the law, that organization can face
legal consequences.
Yes, absolutely. Civil penalties, fines, and administrative actions can be taken, including denial of fundraising privileges.
I didn't know that. What about criminal charges?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that, but I want to finish with the civil part.
Yes.
It can be revocation of solicitation rights, losing the ability to legally ask for donations in that particular state. But to go back to the question that you were asking about criminal consequences or civil liability, in some serious cases, not, it's kind of rare, but in some serious cases, officers or organizers could face charges under state fraud statutes or civil suits for misrepresentation or breach of fiduciary duty, especially if funds were improperly used. So criminal prosecutions depend on facts, such as intent. Like, if any criminal case, you have to show the person has the intent, or the organization officers have the intent to defraud the individual, or evidence of clear deception,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and scope of alleged misconduct. So
So
these are,
I have a question. Is that hard to prove? Can that individual, especially if they're con artists, can can like say, well, I'm trying. Like, is it hard to prove that their intent was to mislead donor? That's the question.
yeah, it is, I must say, it's hard to prove that. You have to have serious evidence.
Like
Uh,
receipts.
yeah, receipts,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, statements, or you really have to be in the know
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
really, some officers may, who are part of the organization, uh, maybe they have a hot mic or something that is very tangible to substantiate that there was an intent. It could be based on circumstantial evidence too, showing that there's a pattern and a level of recklessness that can amount to the conclusion that there may be some criminal act or intent or negligence in dealing with those funds,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and for the purpose of acquiring for funds from the public.
Mm-hmm.
So it all varies. It's not that easy, but it happens. Um, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because something like that, it's very serious, because there are, some case studies that we have seen to understand how uh, these legal boundaries play out in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, if we have the time, we can examine some generalized case studies.
Yes, yes.
Um,
At a
so
later
without
time.
really naming any individuals or
Right.
ongoing investigation, because we're
Right.
not with this purpose for this
To educate the viewer.
educate the
Yeah.
viewers,
But I
not to.
have two important questions. What's the donor's responsibility? Due diligence. And can you give us some tip, like what responsibility does the donor have when we want to give our hard-earned money to charitable um, cause?
Yeah, that's a fair question. So the donors has to be in compliance with the law of its state. Uh, it has to be registered with the state where they are doing solicitations. Um,
So
and
not the donor, the person who's
I'm sorry, not
soliciting.
the donor, the organization. You mean,
Right.
what's the donor's
Yeah,
responsibility?
what is the donor's responsibility
Yes.
when
So
giving their hard-earned money? Can you give some tips,
yeah,
like what due
technical part.
diligence they have to follow?
Yeah, the donors have to check if the organization is registered in its home state.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to, look for IRS Form 990s, and look for annual reports of budget breakdowns, and to check how much goes to programs versus administration of the fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to ask direct questions. What is the timeline for the project? Are there milestones, deliverables, any updates?
Mm-hmm.
What happened if the project doesn't succeed? But we have to be cautious with viral or urgent sounding campaigns as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pause and investigate before donating through social media or crowd funding. And
Mm-hmm.
also, lastly, they have to know their rights. In many states, you can request financial statements
Yeah.
if you.
So
Mhm.
there, if you donate, you should get receipt. Am I right or wrong? Can
Yeah,
one get away
there's
without it? Well, is it illegal not to give? Is it legal not to give receipt or
no, you
receipt?
should get receipt, especially if it's a 501 C3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It could be tax deduction.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
has to be an acknowledgement of your donation to allow you to, deduct that from your taxes. So, so that's why it's important if you suspect fraud or misuse,
Mm-hmm.
you should report it to your state attorney general or
Mm-hmm.
local regulator.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay, so let's say um, there's a group who's taking action, and like you said, there's 50 states within our country. How would other little group get started? What you just listed, they would give evidence, proof that they have donated to this organization, and then you said they have to check to see if they met the state legality rules, right?
correct.
Okay, okay. And then um, give us, if you, as an attorney, can you break down to us how does one research a non-profit? How do you do check? How do you check to see if they're tax exempt, or check their tax exempt status and so on?
Of an organization or
No, how
charitable.
could let's say I want to get $5,000 to a charitable thing. How do I check for their tax exempt status, and how do I demand transparency from them?
Okay, let's start with the tax exempt status first,
Uh huh.
and then we can delve into the next part.
Yes.
How do you check if a charity is tax exempt? You have to use the IRS tax exempt organization search.
Mm-hmm.
You visit the official IRS portal, which is apps
Mm-hmm.
dot irs
Mm-hmm.
dot gov
Uh-huh.
forward slash
Mm-hmm.
app forward slash
Mm-hmm.
EOS.
Okay.
I'll say it again. It's apps dot irs dot gov forward slash app forward slash EOS. And then also you enter the organization's name and the EIN number if it's known, or the location of the organization. Um, and also you look for the status,
Mm-hmm.
see if it says tax exempt or revoked. And if revoked, it means that they no longer have legal exemption
Mm.
or cannot offer tax deductible receipts. And
Wow.
then, you have to check their IRS Form 990.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Form 990 is the nonprofit's public tax return. Uh, so, and this shows income, expenses, executive pay, and how funds are spent.
It gives you some form of transparency.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Form 990 is very important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So most states have an online lookup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can just Google it and put whatever the state is. If it's New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, or whatever state you just put that state in charities, and you do the search to
Mm-hmm.
find out. Um, and so the red flags would be there's no IRS listing on that status of charitable status is being revoked,
Uh-huh.
or status, and or refusal to share the reports, websites like contact information or financial. So that's basically it. I see my time is up.
Yes, yes. So I'm glad you took the time. I know you're very busy. So, to wrap it up, we would encourage smart giving and awareness. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Giving is always a sign of love, and I would encourage that to anyone who willing to support any organization that is viable to do so.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Attorney Makhandal. Greatly appreciated. I'm sure my viewers are going to enjoy this informative video and would love to have you on
Thank you.
perhaps in the near future.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
You too.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
Bye bye.